No. Please, no.
Evelyn screamed as she touched the wedding dress hanging in front of her. The beautiful white silk had dark red bloodstains all over it. Her hands were shaking so badly that she could barely stand. This was the dress she had to wear tomorrow. The dress she had to wear to marry a dead man. A corpse. She fell to her knees on the cold marble floor and cried like she had never cried before. "God, please help me," she begged, but the empty room gave her no answer. Everything happened so fast. Just 5 days ago, Evelyn was a happy 23-year-old girl living in Accra, Ghana. She worked at her aunt's small restaurant, serving jollof rice and fried plantains to customers. She laughed with her friends, danced to Afrobeats music, and dreamed about opening her own restaurant someday. Her life wasn't perfect, but it was hers. Then one terrible night, men in black suits came to her house. They said her father borrowed $10 million from the Kang family, the most feared Mafia family in all of Korea. Her father gambled the money away and couldn't pay it back. Now they wanted payment. Either her father's life, or Evelyn had to marry their son, Kang Min-jun. But there was one big problem. Kang Min-jun was dead. He died in a car crash 2 weeks ago, and they wanted Evelyn to be his ghost bride. They said it was tradition. She had no choice. Suddenly, Evelyn heard something. Footsteps. Slow, heavy footsteps coming down the dark hallway toward her room. Then the door started to open, creaking loudly in the silent night. Evelyn's heart stopped. Through the crack in the door, she saw a shadow. A man's shadow. But everyone said the son was dead. So who was standing outside her door right now? The door opened wider, and Evelyn couldn't breathe. She pressed her back against the wall, trying to disappear. "Please don't hurt me," she whispered, her voice breaking. The shadow moved closer, and then she saw him. A tall man stepped into the moonlight coming through the window. He was the most handsome man Evelyn had ever seen in her life. He had black hair, sharp eyes, and he wore an expensive black suit. But his face was cold like ice. He stared at her without any emotion, like he was looking at a stranger. "You're the Ghanaian girl," he said in a deep, quiet voice. It wasn't a question. It was a statement. Evelyn's whole body was shaking. Who are you?" she managed to ask. The man took 3 steps closer to her, and Evelyn could smell his expensive cologne. "I'm Kang Min-jun," he said simply. Evelyn's eyes went wide with shock. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. This was impossible. Completely impossible. "But you're dead," she finally screamed. "They told me you died. There was a funeral. I saw the pictures." Min-jun's cold expression didn't change at all. He just stood there, watching her panic like it didn't matter to him. "I was supposed to die in that car accident," he said slowly. "But I survived. My family doesn't know that. Nobody knows. And tomorrow, you will marry my dead body in front of everyone." He moved even closer until he was standing right in front of her. Evelyn could feel the heat from his body. "Listen to me very carefully, Evelyn," he whispered, and hearing her name from his lips made her heart beat faster. "You will do exactly what I say. You will cry at the wedding. You will act like you're marrying a corpse. And you will never, ever tell anyone that I'm alive. Do you understand?" Evelyn couldn't think straight. Nothing made sense. "But why?" she asked, tears streaming down her face. "Why are you hiding? Why are you pretending to be dead?" Min-jun's jaw tightened, and for just 1 second, she saw pain flash in his eyes. "Because someone in my family tried to kill me," he said in a dark voice. "And until I find out who it was, I'm already dead." He turned to walk away, but then stopped at the door. "Oh, and Evelyn, after the wedding, you'll be my wife. And I always protect what's mine." Then he disappeared into the darkness, leaving Evelyn alone, confused and terrified. What had she just gotten herself into? The morning came too quickly. Evelyn stood in front of the mirror wearing the blood-stained wedding dress, and she looked like a ghost herself. Her eyes were red and swollen from crying all night. 2 old women had come to her room at sunrise to dress her. They didn't speak English, only Korean, but their faces showed pity. They knew what she was about to do. "I can't do this," Evelyn whispered to her reflection. "I can't." But she thought about her father locked in a dark basement somewhere, and she knew she had no choice. She had to be strong. She had to survive this. The wedding hall was the most beautiful and terrifying place Evelyn had ever seen. Everything was white, white flowers, white candles, white curtains. But in the center of the room was a glass coffin, and inside it lay a body covered with a white cloth. Evelyn's legs almost gave out when she saw it. That was supposed to be Min-jun. The dead Min-jun. She walked down the aisle slowly, her hands holding white lilies that symbolized death. Everyone was watching her. Min-jun's mother, a woman with cold eyes and expensive jewelry, was crying loudly. His father stood like a stone statue, showing no emotion. And there were at least 50 other people, all dressed in black, all staring at Evelyn like she was an animal in a zoo. When she reached the coffin, the officiant began speaking in Korean. Evelyn didn't understand the words, but she knew what was happening. She was marrying a dead man. Or at least, everyone thought she was. Tears rolled down her cheeks, real tears of fear and sadness. She played her part perfectly, just like Min-jun told her to. But then something happened that made her blood run cold. As she placed her hand on the glass coffin for the ceremony, she felt it. The body inside moved. Just a tiny movement, like a finger twitching. Evelyn gasped and pulled her hand back quickly. Her eyes went wide with horror. Was there really a dead body in there? Or was it Min-jun hiding inside, watching everything? Evelyn tried to stay calm, but her heart was beating so fast she thought everyone could hear it. She looked around the room nervously. Did anyone else see the body move? But everyone was still watching the ceremony, wiping their tears and bowing their heads. Nobody noticed anything strange except her. The officiant finished his prayer and announced something in Korean. Everyone started clapping slowly, sadly. It was done. Evelyn was now officially Mrs. Kang Min-jun, the wife of a dead man. Min-jun's mother walked up to her with red, angry eyes. "You," she said in broken English, pointing her finger at Evelyn's face. "You killed my son with your bad luck. African girl brought death to my family." She spat on the ground near Evelyn's feet. Evelyn wanted to defend herself, to say she had nothing to do with it, but the words died in her throat. She just stood there, taking the insults, feeling smaller and smaller. After the ceremony, everyone left the hall except Evelyn. She stood alone in front of the glass coffin, her hands shaking. She had to know. She had to see what was inside. Slowly, carefully, she reached for the white cloth covering the body. Her fingers touched the soft fabric. She started to pull it back, her heart racing faster and faster. "Stop!" a voice said behind her, and Evelyn jumped so high she almost screamed. She turned around quickly and saw Min-jun standing in the shadows near the door. He was wearing a black suit, looking more handsome and dangerous than ever. How did you?" Evelyn couldn't finish her sentence. Min-jun walked toward her with slow, confident steps. "There's a secret passage under the coffin," he explained quietly. "I was never inside it. That body belongs to someone else. Someone who died recently and had no family." Evelyn felt sick to her stomach. "You used a real dead person?" Min-jun's face showed no guilt at all. "Welcome to my world, Evelyn. This is what the Mafia does. We use whatever we need to survive." He stood so close to her now that she could see gold flecks in his dark eyes. "Now come. I need to take you somewhere safe before my family tries to hurt you too." He grabbed her wrist gently but firmly, and Evelyn's skin burned where he touched her. "Wait," she said, pulling back. "Where are you taking me? I want to see my father first." That was the deal. Min-jun's expression turned dark and dangerous. "Your father is safe. But you're in more danger than you know. Someone in this mansion wants you dead, Evelyn. And I'm the only one who can protect you." Before she could argue, he pulled her toward the secret passage. As they disappeared into the darkness, Evelyn heard footsteps above them. Multiple footsteps. Running. Coming toward the wedding hall. Someone was coming for her. But who? And why? Min-jun pulled Evelyn through the dark secret passage so fast that she almost fell. The walls were cold and damp, and she could hear water dripping somewhere. "Slow down," Evelyn cried out, trying to keep up with him in her wedding dress. "I can't run in this dress." But Min-jun didn't slow down. He just held her hand tighter and kept moving forward through the darkness. Finally, they reached a heavy metal door. Min-jun pressed his hand against a scanner on the wall, and the door opened with a loud hissing sound. He pushed Evelyn inside and locked the door behind them. They were both breathing hard, and Evelyn's heart felt like it would explode. "What is this place?" she asked, looking around in shock. The room was like something from a movie. There were computer screens everywhere, showing different parts of the mansion. Evelyn could see the wedding hall, the kitchen, the bedrooms, even the bathroom. "You've been watching everything?" she asked, feeling violated and scared. Min-jun walked to one of the computers and started typing quickly. "I've been watching my family for 2 weeks, trying to find out who wants me dead," he said without looking at her. "And tonight, I finally got my answer." He pressed a button, and one of the screens showed a video from 3 weeks ago. Evelyn moved closer to see it better. On the screen, she saw a man and a woman talking in a dark room. The woman was Min-jun's mother. "And the man?" Evelyn gasped. "That's your brother," she said, recognizing the face from the family photos she saw earlier. Min-jun's jaw tightened with anger and pain. "Yes. That's Kang Min-ho. My younger brother. The person I trusted most in this world." On the video, they could hear Min-ho speaking in Korean, but English subtitles appeared on the screen. "The car accident is arranged for tomorrow night," Min-ho said coldly. "Min-jun will die, and I will become the head of the family. Just like you always wanted, mother." Min-jun's mother smiled, a cruel, evil smile. "Good. He's too soft, too weak. You will be a better leader. Make sure there are no mistakes." Evelyn's hand covered her mouth in horror. "Your own mother and brother tried to kill you," she whispered. Min-jun turned to look at her, and for the first time, Evelyn saw real emotion in his eyes. Pain. Betrayal. Anger. "Now you understand why I'm hiding," he said quietly. "They think they succeeded. They think I'm dead and buried. But I'm very much alive, and I'm going to make them pay for what they did." He walked toward Evelyn slowly, and suddenly the room felt very small. "And you, Evelyn, are going to help me destroy them. Whether you like it or not." Evelyn stepped back, shaking her head. "No. No, I didn't sign up for this. I just wanted to save my father." Min-jun grabbed her shoulders gently but firmly. "Your father is only alive because I'm keeping him alive. If I die, he dies. If you betray me, he dies. You belong to me now, Evelyn. You're my wife, and you're going to help me get my revenge." His face was so close to hers that she could feel his breath. "Do we have an understanding?" Before Evelyn could answer, all the computer screens suddenly went black. Every single one. The room was plunged into darkness. Then a voice came through the speakers, Min-ho's voice. "Hello, big brother. I know you're alive. And I know exactly where you're hiding. How did Min-ho find them? And what would he do now?" "No, no, no." Evelyn panicked, looking at the dark screens. Her whole body was shaking with fear. Min-jun stayed calm, but she could see his hand forming into a tight fist. He was angry, but he was controlling it. "How did he find us?" Evelyn whispered, her voice breaking. Min-jun walked to the door and pressed his ear against it, listening carefully. "My brother is smarter than I thought," he said quietly. "He must have been watching me too." Suddenly, Min-ho's voice came through the speakers again, laughing coldly. "Did you really think you could hide from me, Min-jun? I'm not the stupid little brother you remember. I've been planning this for years. Years. And now, I'm going to finish what I started." The lights in the room suddenly turned on, blinding them for a moment. When Evelyn's eyes adjusted, she screamed. The computer screens were back on, but now they showed something terrible. Her father. He was tied to a chair in a dark basement, blood on his face, looking weak and scared. "Papa!" Evelyn ran to the screen, touching it with shaking hands. "Papa, no." Min-ho's voice spoke again, enjoying their pain. "Hello, Evelyn. Welcome to the family. I hope you enjoyed your wedding. Now, let me explain the rules of my game. You have exactly 24 hours to bring Min-jun to me. Come to the old warehouse on Dong Demon Street at midnight tomorrow. Alone. Just the two of you. If you don't come, or if you bring anyone else, I will kill your father slowly and painfully. And Evelyn, I'll make you watch every second of it." The screens went black again. The room was silent except for Evelyn's crying. She collapsed on the floor, her white wedding dress spreading around her like broken wings. "He's going to kill my father," she sobbed. "This is all my fault. I should never have come here. I should never have agreed to this." Min-jun knelt down beside her. For a moment, he just watched her cry. Then, surprisingly, he reached out and wiped a tear from her cheek with his thumb. The touch was gentle, so different from his cold personality. "Stop crying," he said softly. "Your father will not die. I promise you." Evelyn looked up at him with red, swollen eyes. "How can you promise that? Your brother wants to kill you. If we go there, we'll both die." Min-jun helped her stand up, his hands strong and steady on her arms. "Do you know why I survived in this family for so long, Evelyn? Because I'm always 10 steps ahead. Min-ho thinks he's smart, but he doesn't know everything. He doesn't know about my secret weapon." Evelyn wiped her eyes. "What secret weapon?" A small smile appeared on Min-jun's lips, the first smile Evelyn had ever seen from him. It was beautiful but also dangerous. "You," he said simply. "You're my secret weapon, Evelyn. And tomorrow night, you're going to help me destroy my brother once and for all." Evelyn's eyes widened in shock and fear. "What? Me? I'm not a fighter. I'm just a normal girl." Min-jun moved closer, tucking a loose strand of her hair behind her ear. The gesture was intimate, making Evelyn's heart beat faster for a completely different reason now. "That's exactly why you're perfect," he whispered. "Nobody expects the innocent African girl to be dangerous. But I'm going to teach you. I'm going to train you. And when we walk into that warehouse tomorrow night, you won't be a victim anymore. You'll be a queen." His eyes locked with hers, and Evelyn felt something shift inside her chest. Fear mixed with something else. Something she didn't want to name. But there was no time to think about feelings. Because at that moment, they heard an explosion. A loud, terrible explosion that shook the entire room. Someone had just bombed the mansion above them. Dust and pieces of concrete fell from the ceiling. The whole room shook like an earthquake. Evelyn screamed and covered her head with her hands. Min-jun immediately pulled her close to his chest, protecting her body with his. "Stay down," he commanded, his voice strong and steady even though everything around them was falling apart. Evelyn could hear his heartbeat against her ear, fast but controlled. Even in danger, he was calm. Another explosion shook the room, this one closer than before. The computer screens shattered, sending glass flying everywhere. Min-jun turned his body to shield Evelyn from the broken glass. She felt some pieces cut into his back, but he didn't even flinch. "We need to get out of here now," he said, grabbing her hand and pulling her toward a different door she hadn't noticed before. They ran through another dark tunnel, and Evelyn could smell smoke. The mansion above them was burning. She could hear people screaming and crying. "What about the others?" Evelyn asked, breathing hard as they ran. "What about your family? The servants? They'll die." Min-jun didn't slow down. "They can take care of themselves. Right now, keeping you alive is my only priority." His words made Evelyn's heart do something strange. Why did he care so much about keeping her alive? They barely knew each other. Finally, they reached the end of the tunnel and came out into a secret garage. There were 5 expensive cars parked there, all black and shiny. Min-jun pressed a button on his watch, and one of the cars, a sleek black sports car, roared to life. He opened the passenger door. "Get in. Now." Evelyn climbed in quickly, her dirty wedding dress getting caught in the door. Min-jun got into the driver's seat and drove out through a hidden exit that opened in the wall. As they sped away from the mansion, Evelyn looked back through the window. The entire mansion was covered in flames. Huge orange and red flames reaching up to the night sky. People were running out, screaming and crying. Fire trucks were just arriving, their sirens wailing loudly. "My brother did this," Min-jun said, his knuckles white from gripping the steering wheel so hard. "He's trying to kill everyone who might know I'm alive. He's destroying all the evidence. All the witnesses." Evelyn turned to look at him, and in the orange glow from the burning mansion, she could see blood on the back of his suit. "You're bleeding," she said with worry in her voice. "The glass cut you when you protected me." Min-jun glanced at her briefly before looking back at the road. "It's nothing. I've had worse." But Evelyn reached over and gently touched his shoulder. "Thank you," she said softly, "for protecting me back there. You could have left me and saved yourself, but you didn't." For a moment, Min-jun said nothing. Then he spoke in a voice so quiet that Evelyn almost didn't hear it. "I told you already, Evelyn. You're mine now. And I protect what's mine." The way he said, "mine," made Evelyn's stomach flutter with butterflies. She quickly looked away, confused by her own feelings. How could she be feeling this way about a man who was basically keeping her prisoner? A man who was using her in his revenge plan? But before she could think about it more, Min-jun suddenly pressed hard on the brakes. The car screeched to a stop. Evelyn looked up and gasped. There were 5 black SUVs blocking the road in front of them. And standing in the middle of the road, smiling like a devil, was Min-ho. He had a gun in his hand, and he was pointing it directly at them. "Get out of the car!" Min-ho shouted, his gun still pointed at them. "Both of you!" Slowly. Evelyn's hands were shaking so badly she could barely breathe. She looked at Min-jun, waiting for him to tell her what to do. But Min-jun just sat there, staring at his brother through the windshield with cold, angry eyes. "I said get out!" Min-ho fired a warning shot into the air. The loud bang made Evelyn jump and scream. Min-jun finally moved. "Stay behind me," he whispered to Evelyn as he opened his door. They both got out of the car slowly, their hands raised. Min-ho started laughing when he saw them standing there. "Look at you, big brother." The great Kang Min-jun, the family's golden boy, standing in the street like a common criminal. "And with your little African bride too. How romantic." Min-jun's face showed no fear at all. "You burned down our family home, Min-ho. You killed innocent people. Our own cousins were in that mansion. Aunt Jin-suk, Uncle Taeyong. They're all dead because of you." Min-ho shrugged like he didn't care. "They were loyal to you, not to me. I had to get rid of them. It's just business, brother. Nothing personal." He walked closer, and Evelyn could see his eyes clearly now. They were crazy eyes. Empty eyes. Like a person with no soul. "But I have to admit, I'm impressed. You survived my car accident. You faked your own death. You even found my spy cameras in your secret room. You're smarter than I thought." Min-jun took one step forward, putting himself completely in front of Evelyn. "What do you want, Min-ho? If you wanted to kill me, you would have shot me already. So what's your real plan?" Min-ho smiled wider, showing all his teeth. "Smart as always. You're right. I don't want to kill you. Not yet anyway." He snapped his fingers, and men came out from the black SUVs. At least 20 men, all holding guns, all surrounding them. "I want you to watch something first. I want you to see what happens when someone betrays the Kang family." He pulled out his phone and showed them the screen. Evelyn's heart stopped. It was a live video of her father. But he wasn't alone anymore. Min-ho's men were standing around him, holding knives and guns. "No!" Evelyn screamed, trying to run forward, but Min-jun grabbed her and held her back. "Please! Please don't hurt him! I'll do anything!" she begged, tears streaming down her face. Min-ho laughed at her pain. "Anything? That's a dangerous word, little bride. But okay. I'll make you a deal. Min-jun, give yourself up. Come with me peacefully. Let me kill you in front of mother, so she can finally be proud of me. Do that, and I'll let the girl and her father go free. They can go back to Ghana and live their poor little lives." Evelyn looked up at Min-jun, her eyes begging him to agree. She couldn't let her father die. She couldn't. But Min-jun was staring at his brother with an expression she couldn't read. "And if I refuse?" Min-jun asked calmly. Min-ho's smile disappeared. Then I kill her father right now, while she watches. Then I kill her slowly. Then I kill you. In that exact order. The silence that followed was terrible. Evelyn could hear her own heartbeat in her ears. She waited for Min-jun to speak, to make a decision. Was he going to save her father? Or was he going to choose his own life? Finally, Min-jun spoke. Okay, he said quietly. I'll go with you. Just let them go. Evelyn's eyes went wide with shock. What? No. You can't. She grabbed his arm desperately. He's going to kill you. Don't do this. Min-jun looked down at her, and for the first time since they met, his eyes were soft. Really soft. He lifted his hand and gently touched her face, wiping away her tears just like he did before. You told me to save your father, he said quietly, his voice only for her. So I'm saving him. That's what husbands do, right? They protect their wives and their families. His words broke something inside Evelyn's heart. But you'll die, she whispered, more tears falling. And I can't. She couldn't finish the sentence. She didn't even understand what she was feeling. How could she care this much about a man she just met? Min-jun smiled sadly. Maybe in another life, Evelyn, we could have been happy together. You would have been a beautiful queen. He leaned down and kissed her forehead softly, gently, like a goodbye. Then he walked toward Min-ho, his hands raised in surrender. I'm ready, he said. Let them go, and I'm all yours. But as Min-ho's men grabbed Min-jun and started putting handcuffs on him, Evelyn saw something. Min-jun's hand made a small signal behind his back. 3 fingers. Then 2. Then 1. Suddenly, gunshots exploded from everywhere. But they weren't shooting at Evelyn and Min-jun. They were shooting at Min-ho's men. Who was shooting? Where were the bullets coming from? Chaos exploded everywhere. Min-ho's men started falling to the ground, shot by invisible attackers. What's happening? Min-ho screamed, looking around wildly. Who's shooting? Show yourselves. Min-jun broke free from the men holding him and ran back to Evelyn. He grabbed her and pulled her down behind their car just as more bullets flew over their heads. Stay down and don't move, he commanded, his body covering hers protectively. Evelyn's heart was racing so fast she thought it would jump out of her chest. Who are they? Who's helping us? She asked, her voice shaking with fear. Min-jun looked down at her, and that small dangerous smile appeared on his face again. I told you I'm always 10 steps ahead. Did you really think I've been hiding alone for 2 weeks? I have my own loyal men. 20 of the best fighters and shooters in Korea. They've been watching us this whole time, waiting for my signal. From the darkness, men dressed in all black appeared like shadows. They moved fast and silent, taking down Min-ho's guards one by one. They were like professional soldiers, trained and deadly. Min-ho tried to run back to his SUV, but one of Min-jun's men shot the tires. The car couldn't move. Min-ho was trapped. Within minutes, all of Min-ho's men were on the ground, either dead or unconscious. Min-jun's team surrounded Min-ho, their guns all pointed at him. Min-ho fell to his knees, his hands shaking with fear. The crazy confidence from before was completely gone. Now he just looked like a scared boy. Min-jun stood up and walked toward his brother slowly, like a king walking toward a prisoner. Evelyn got up too, watching everything with wide eyes. Please, Min-ho begged, tears running down his face. Please don't kill me. I'm your brother. We share the same blood. Min-jun stopped right in front of him and looked down with cold eyes. You stopped being my brother the moment you tried to kill me. The moment you worked with Mother to destroy me. The moment you burned down our home and killed our family. Min-ho was crying now, sobbing like a child. I'm sorry. I was jealous. Mother always loved you more. Father always chose you for everything. I just wanted to be important. I just wanted to matter. For a second, Evelyn saw pain flash across Min-jun's face. She could tell this was hurting him, even though he was trying to hide it. Betrayal by family hurts more than any bullet. You mattered to me, Min-jun said quietly. I loved you, Min-ho. I would have given you anything. But you chose greed over brotherhood. You chose murder over love. He pulled out a gun from inside his jacket. Min-ho's eyes went wide with terror.
No.
Please. I'm begging you. Min-jun raised the gun and pointed it at his brother's head. His hand was steady. His face showed no emotion. Evelyn's breath caught in her throat. Was she about to watch Min-jun kill his own brother? Could she stand here and let it happen? Even after everything Min-ho did, something inside her couldn't accept this. Wait. Evelyn ran forward and grabbed Min-jun's arm. Don't do this. Please. Min-jun didn't lower the gun. Move away, Evelyn. This doesn't concern you. But Evelyn held his arm tighter. Yes, it does. If you kill him, you'll never forgive yourself. I can see it in your eyes. You're not a cold-blooded killer, Min-jun. Don't let revenge turn you into one. Min-jun finally looked at her, really looked at her. His dark eyes were full of pain, anger, and something else. Something softer. He tried to kill me. He threatened you. He's holding your father hostage. He burned our home and killed innocent people. And you want me to let him live? Evelyn's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't let go of his arm. I want you to be better than him. I want you to be the good man I know you are inside. Please, Min-jun. For me. The silence stretched between them. Everyone was watching. Waiting. Even Min-ho stopped crying, holding his breath. Finally, slowly, Min-jun lowered his gun. You're too kind for this world, Evelyn, he said softly. Then he turned to his men. Lock him up in the warehouse. Make sure he can't escape. We'll decide what to do with him after we rescue Evelyn's father. His men immediately grabbed Min-ho and dragged him away. Min-ho was crying and screaming. Thank you. Thank you. I won't forget this. I'll change. I promise. But Min-jun didn't even look at him. He was only looking at Evelyn now, studying her face like he was seeing something new. Why did you stop me? He asked. After everything he's done to you, why do you still have mercy in your heart? Evelyn touched his face gently, surprising even herself with a bold action. Because someone once told me that I would be a queen. And queens don't rule with cruelty. They rule with wisdom and mercy. Min-jun stared at her for a long moment. Then he did something that shocked everyone. He pulled her close and kissed her. Not on the forehead this time. On the lips. It was a real kiss. Deep and passionate and full of emotion. When they finally pulled apart, Evelyn's head was spinning. Her heart felt like it might explode. Min-jun rested his forehead against hers. You're changing me, Evelyn, he whispered. And I don't know if that's good or dangerous. Before Evelyn could respond, one of Min-jun's men ran up to them, his face full of panic. Boss. We have a problem. We just got word from our spy at the warehouse. Someone else got to Evelyn's father first. He's been taken. And the person who took him... The man hesitated, looking scared to continue. Who? Min-jun demanded. Who took him? The man swallowed hard. Your mother, sir. Madame Kang took him. And she left a message saying if you want him back alive, you have to come to her alone. No army. No weapons. No tricks. Just you. Or she'll cut him into pieces and send him back to Ghana in a box. Evelyn felt like the whole world just crashed down on her. No, she whispered, her voice breaking. No, no, no. Not my father. Please, not my father. Her legs gave out, and she would have fallen if Min-jun hadn't caught her. He held her close, and she could feel his heart beating fast against her chest. I'll get him back, Min-jun promised, his voice low and determined. I swear to you, Evelyn. I will bring your father home safely. But Evelyn pulled back and looked at him with terrified eyes. You heard what she said. You have to go alone. No weapons. It's a trap, Min-jun. She'll kill you the second you walk in there. Min-jun cupped her face in his hands, forcing her to look at him. Then I'll die protecting what I love. That's what a man does. His words hit Evelyn like lightning. Love. Did he just say love? Her heart skipped several beats. You don't love me, Evelyn said, shaking her head in denial. "You barely know me. We're just..." But she couldn't finish because Min-jun kissed her again. This kiss was different from the first one. It was slower, deeper, filled with so much emotion that Evelyn felt tears rolling down her cheeks. When he pulled away, he wiped her tears with his thumbs. "I've lived in darkness my whole life, Evelyn. Surrounded by greed, betrayal, and violence. But then you came into my world with your kind heart and your brave spirit. You stopped me from becoming a monster tonight. You made me feel something I thought I'd never feel. So yes, maybe it's crazy. Maybe it's too fast. But I love you, Evelyn. And I'm going to save your father, even if it costs me everything." Evelyn's heart was breaking and healing at the same time. How could she fall in love with someone in just 2 days? But looking into Min-jun's eyes, she knew it was real. Love doesn't follow a timeline. Love just happens. "Then I'm coming with you," she said firmly, wiping away her tears. "No," Min-jun said immediately. "Absolutely not. It's too dangerous." But Evelyn grabbed his jacket with both hands, holding tight. "She's your mother. She wants to see you broken before she kills you. But if I'm there, she'll have to face what she's done. She'll have to look at the innocent girl whose father she kidnapped. Maybe there's still some humanity left in her. Maybe she can be reached." Min-jun started to argue, but one of his men interrupted. "Boss, we're running out of time. Madam Kang said you have 1 hour to get to the location. That was 20 minutes ago. We have 40 minutes left." Min-jun looked torn. Evelyn could see the war happening inside him, his need to protect her versus his need to save her father. Finally, he made his decision. "Fine. You can come. But you stay in the car until I make sure it's safe. Promise me, Evelyn." Evelyn nodded. "I promise." They got into the car and drove fast through the night. The location Min-jun's mother had given was an abandoned factory on the edge of Seoul. It was dark, isolated, and perfect for a murder. As they drove, Evelyn held Min-jun's hand tight. Neither of them spoke. They both knew this might be their last hour together. When they arrived at the factory, it looked like something from a horror movie. Broken windows, rusted metal, and complete darkness everywhere. Min-jun parked the car far from the entrance. He turned to Evelyn, his face serious. "Remember your promise. Stay here. Lock the doors. If anything goes wrong, if you hear gunshots, you drive away as fast as you can. My men are stationed 2 miles away. Drive to them. They'll protect you." Evelyn's eyes filled with tears again. "Don't talk like you're going to die. Please." Min-jun leaned over and kissed her forehead, her cheeks, and finally her lips. "If I don't make it out, I want you to know that meeting you was the best thing that ever happened to me. You made me feel alive again, Evelyn. You made me feel human." Then he opened his door and stepped out into the darkness. Evelyn watched him walk toward the factory entrance, her heart screaming at her to run after him. But she had made a promise. She had to trust him. She had to believe he would come back. Min-jun disappeared inside the dark factory building, and Evelyn waited. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes. 15 minutes. The silence was killing her. Then she heard it. A scream. Her father's scream. "Evelyn! Help me! Evelyn!" That scream broke every promise Evelyn had made. She threw open the car door and ran toward the factory as fast as her legs could carry her. She didn't care about danger anymore. She didn't care about anything except saving the 2 men she loved, her father and Min-jun. She ran through the dark hallways, following the sounds of voices. Finally, she reached a big open room. And what she saw made her blood turn to ice. Min-jun was on his knees, hands tied behind his back, blood dripping from his mouth. Min-jun's mother stood behind him, holding a gun to his head. And her father was tied to a metal pole, beaten and crying. But worst of all, standing beside Min-jun's mother with an evil smile on her face, was someone Evelyn never expected to see. Her own mother. The woman who abandoned her family 5 years ago. The woman she thought was dead. "Mama!" Evelyn's voice came out as a broken whisper. She couldn't believe what her eyes were seeing. Her mother, the woman who gave birth to her, who used to sing her lullabies, who disappeared 5 years ago, was standing there smiling like a stranger. "Hello, my dear daughter," her mother said in a cold voice that Evelyn didn't recognize. "Surprised to see me? I bet you are." Evelyn felt like she was drowning. Nothing made sense. But they said you died in a car accident. We had a funeral. I cried for you for years." Her mother laughed, a cruel laugh that sent chills down Evelyn's spine. "That was a lie, darling. I never died. I just got tired of being poor. Tired of selling food on the streets. Tired of being nobody. So when Madame Kang offered me money to disappear and help her when she needed it, I took it. $5 million. Evelyn. Do you know how much money that is?" Evelyn's father lifted his head, blood dripping from his nose. "Grace," he said weakly to Evelyn's mother. "How could you do this? To our family? To our daughter?" Grace, Evelyn's mother, looked at him with disgust. "You were always weak, Samuel. Always satisfied with nothing. I wanted more. I deserved more. And when Madame Kang told me she needed bait to trap her son, and that your gambling debt gave us the perfect opportunity, I knew it was fate." Evelyn felt sick to her stomach. You planned all of this? You knew Papa owed money? You helped set this trap?" Min-jun's mother, Madame Kang, stepped forward, still holding the gun to Min-jun's head. "Your mother is a very smart woman, Evelyn. Much smarter than you. She's been my spy for 5 years. She told me about your father's gambling problem. She's the one who convinced my contacts in Ghana to loan him money. She set up everything perfectly. And now, here we all are. One big happy family." She pressed the gun harder against Min-jun's head, making him grunt in pain. Min-jun looked up at Evelyn, his eyes full of pain and worry. "I told you to stay in the car," he said, his voice weak but still trying to protect her. "Why did you come? Why didn't you listen?" Evelyn ran toward him, but her mother grabbed her arm roughly, stopping her. "Let me go!" Evelyn screamed, fighting against her mother's grip. But Grace was stronger than she looked. "You're not going anywhere, daughter. You're going to stand right here and watch while Madame Kang kills the man you love. Just like you watched your father suffer. You need to learn that love makes you weak. Love is for fools." Tears streamed down Evelyn's face as she struggled. "You're not my mother. My mother was kind. She was loving. She would never do this." Grace slapped Evelyn hard across the face. The sound echoed in the empty factory. Evelyn's cheek burned with pain, and she tasted blood in her mouth. "Your mother was pretending," Grace hissed. "I never loved any of you. Not really. You were all just weights holding me down." Those words broke something deep inside Evelyn. But they also made something else happen. They made her angry. Really, truly angry. She stopped crying. She stopped being scared. Instead, rage filled her body like fire. "You know what I learned since I came to Korea?" Evelyn said, her voice suddenly strong and steady. "I learned that family isn't about blood. It's about who stays. Who fights for you. Who protects you. Min-jun, a man I met only days ago, has been more family to me than you ever were." She looked directly at Madame Kang now. "And you? You call yourself a mother? You tried to kill your own son. You raised one son to murder another. What kind of monster are you?" Madame Kang's face twisted with anger. "How dare you speak to me that way? You're just a poor African girl. You're nothing." But Evelyn smiled, and it was the same dangerous smile Min-jun sometimes had. "I'm not nothing. I'm Min-jun's wife. I'm the queen he promised I would become. And queens don't beg. Queens fight." Then everything happened so fast. Evelyn stomped hard on her mother's foot, making Grace scream and let go. In that same moment, Min-jun threw his head backward, hitting Madame Kang's hand. The gun flew out of her grip and slid across the floor. Evelyn dove for the gun. So did her mother. They both reached it at the same time, struggling and fighting. Behind them, Min-jun was trying to break free from his ropes. Madame Kang pulled out a knife and started moving toward him. Everything was chaos. Violence. Screaming. And then,
Bang!
A gunshot rang out through the factory. Everyone froze. Everything went silent. Evelyn was holding the gun. Smoke was coming from the barrel. And someone was falling to the ground. Who got shot? Who was dying on that cold factory floor? Time seemed to move in slow motion. Evelyn watched as Grace, her mother, clutched her shoulder and fell to the ground. Blood seeped through her fingers, staining her expensive clothes red. "You shot me," Grace gasped in shock, staring up at Evelyn like she couldn't believe it. "Your own mother. You shot me." Evelyn stood there holding the gun, her hands shaking but her voice steady. "You stopped being my mother 5 years ago when you chose money over family. I didn't aim to kill you. But I won't let you hurt anyone else I love." The gun fell from her hands, clattering on the concrete floor. She had never held a gun before today. She never wanted to again. Behind them, Madame Kang screamed in rage and charged at Min-jun with her knife raised high. But Min-jun had finally broken free from his ropes. He caught her wrist mid-strike, twisted it, and the knife fell. Mother and son stood face to face, both breathing hard. "You were supposed to love me," Min-jun said, his voice cracking with emotion. "I was your son. Your firstborn. How could you try to kill me?" Madame Kang's face was full of hatred. "You were weak. Too soft. Always talking about changing the family business, making it legal, being good. You would have destroyed everything your grandfather built. Min-ho was supposed to be my perfect son, but I see now that I failed with both of you." Min-jun's eyes filled with tears, but he didn't let them fall. "Then you never really knew me at all. Because I'm not weak. I'm just not a monster." He pulled out his phone and pressed a button. Suddenly, police sirens filled the air. Red and blue lights flashed through the broken windows. "What did you do?" Madame Kang's face went pale with fear. "I had my men call the police 20 minutes ago," Min-jun said calmly. "I told them everything. The money laundering, the illegal weapons, the murders. I gave them all the evidence they needed to destroy this family's criminal empire. It's over, Mother. Your kingdom of darkness ends tonight." Police officers swarmed into the factory from every entrance. They arrested Madame Kang, Grace, and several other people who had been hiding in the shadows. Paramedics rushed in to help Evelyn's father, who was badly beaten but alive. Evelyn ran to him, falling to her knees beside him. "Papa! Papa, I'm so sorry!" she sobbed, holding his hand. Her father smiled weakly through his pain. "My brave girl," he whispered. "My strong, brave girl. I'm so proud of you." Min-jun walked over to them slowly. He knelt down beside Evelyn and looked at her father with respect. "Sir, I promise you that I will spend the rest of my life making up for what my family did to yours. Your daughter saved my life tonight. She saved my soul. If you'll allow it, I want to take care of both of you. Not out of obligation, but out of love." Evelyn's father looked at Min-jun for a long moment, studying his face. Then he smiled. "Any man who makes my daughter's eyes shine like that is worthy of her. But you hurt her, and I'll come back from Ghana to haunt you myself." Min-jun actually laughed, a real, genuine laugh that Evelyn had never heard before. It was beautiful. 3 months later, everything had changed. Madame Kang and Grace were both in prison, serving long sentences for their crimes. Min-ho was in a different prison, being treated for his mental illness. The Kang family's criminal empire was destroyed, their illegal money seized by the government. Min-jun had testified against everyone, helping the police close dozens of criminal cases. The media called him a hero, the Mafia son who brought down his own family to save innocent lives. Evelyn's father was back in Ghana, fully recovered, running a restaurant that Min-jun had bought for him. It was the nicest restaurant in all of Accra, always full of happy customers. And Evelyn, she stood in front of a mirror in Seoul, wearing a different wedding dress. This one was pure white with no bloodstains, covered in beautiful crystals that sparkled like stars. Her best friend Amma was there, flown in from Ghana to be her maid of honor. "You look like a real queen," Amma said, crying happy tears. "I still can't believe all of this happened. It's like a movie." Evelyn smiled at her reflection. She barely recognized herself. She wasn't the scared girl who arrived in Korea 3 months ago. She was stronger now. Braver. She had fought monsters and won. The door opened, and Min-jun walked in, looking handsome in his black tuxedo. Amma quickly left to give them privacy, giggling as she went. "You're not supposed to see the bride before the wedding," Evelyn teased, turning to face him. "It's bad luck." Min-jun walked to her and took both her hands in his. "We've already had all the bad luck we're ever going to have. From now on, it's only good luck. Only happiness. Only love." He pulled out a small box and opened it. Inside was the most beautiful crown Evelyn had ever seen, delicate gold with diamonds that caught the light. "This belonged to my grandmother," Min-jun said softly. "She was the only good person in my family. She always told me to find a woman with a pure heart and make her my queen. I think she would have loved you." He placed the crown gently on Evelyn's head. "Today, you're not marrying a dead man. You're marrying a man who's finally alive. A man who loves you more than anything in this world. Are you ready to be my queen, Evelyn?" Evelyn's eyes filled with happy tears. "I've been ready since the moment you protected me in that secret room. Since the moment you chose mercy over revenge. Since the moment you loved me when I thought I was unlovable." They kissed, and this time it wasn't desperate or rushed. It was perfect. Full of promise and hope and love. When they pulled apart, Min-jun rested his forehead against hers. "Thank you," he whispered. "For what?" "For teaching me that family isn't about blood. It's about choice. And I choose you, Evelyn. Every day, for the rest of my life, I choose you." Evelyn smiled through her tears. "And I choose you, Min-jun. My king. My protector. My love." Outside, music started playing. It was time for their real wedding. The wedding where both of them were alive, free, and happy. As they walked toward the door together, Evelyn looked back at her reflection one last time. The scared girl from Ghana was gone. In her place stood a queen wearing a crown she had earned through courage, love, and strength. Min-jun had promised to spoil her like a queen. And he kept that promise, not with money or jewels, but with loyalty, protection, and a love that would last forever. This was their beginning. Their real beginning. And every great love story deserves a happy ending. 1 year later, Evelyn opened her own restaurant in Seoul, serving authentic Ghanaian food. It became the most popular restaurant in the city. Min-jun had left the Mafia world completely and started a legal security business, protecting people from the same violence he once lived in. They visited Ghana every 3 months to see Evelyn's father and her little brother Kwame, who Min-jun was now paying to send to university. Min-ho eventually recovered and sent them a letter from prison, apologizing for everything and asking for forgiveness one day. They hadn't responded yet, but Evelyn kept the letter, believing that maybe someday, healing was possible. And sometimes, late at night, when Evelyn wore her crown and Min-jun held her close, they would remember that terrible ghost wedding where everything began. They would remember the blood-stained dress, the glass coffin, and the moment two broken souls found each other in the darkness. "Do you regret it?" Min-jun would ask. "Being forced to marry a dead man?" And Evelyn would always smile and say, "No. Because that dead man came back to life and taught me how to live." And they lived happily ever after. The Ghanaian queen and her reformed Mafia king. Together. Forever. What do you think? Could love truly survive in the darkness of betrayal and danger? Would you have made the same choices as Evelyn? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and share this story with someone who needs to see how love can change everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a new twist in our journey together.